Okay, sore losers, this one is for you. Are we really going to be like all of those people that we made fun of over the last 4 years? We're going to stomp our little feet and reject the results of the election and say that Joe Biden is an illegitimate president and call him a clown and a buffoon and all of the things that Donald Trump was called. Is that seriously how we're going to act? Are we going to march in the streets and burn the flag and burn down cities and then justify our actions with our rage? In the sage words of our esteemed president-elect Joe Biden, come on, man. Well, hold your horses, folks, because the last time I checked, for the first time in history, the votes are still being counted. This thing is not over. It is not all sewn up, as much as the media wants you to believe that. We're almost a week out, and some cities are still counting and finding magical ballots that keep on putting Joe Biden over the top. I remember Iraq's first election. Remember that? After Saddam Hussein was gone, Iraq had their very first democratic election. It seems like that election went smoother than our election here in the United States of America. Oh, but COVID. What a nifty little scapegoat that's been, huh? But isn't regular Joe the statesman that's out there saying that every vote should count? Every vote
is finished. And it ain't over till every vote is counted. Every ballot is counted. But we're feeling good.
I know. We want to be sure to include the votes of the forgotten dead people, especially the ones who wanted to vote multiple times, who had the presence of mind to vote early and vote often. But what about the military vote? And what about all of those people of color who decided to take a chance on a Republican candidate in record numbers? We already know.
So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
But does this also mean that their vote doesn't matter as well? Look, I get that those who hate Donald Trump really hate him, and they have clamored for so long to get him out of the White House, they're salivating at the thought of having him finally gone at any cost. But again, for the first time in history, there are cities out there still counting the vote. These cities have a record of election corruption, the same cities where the Biden administration filed more than 300 lawsuits to try to loosen up security. They wanted to erase accountability and to encourage cheating. Those very same cities where, when Trump was winning, and it was very clear that we were headed into another 2016, and coincidentally, they said they would never allow another 2016. Remember that? Big tech, people in the establishment, people in the media all said they could never allow a repeat of 2016. What do you suppose that meant? Anyway, in those very cities, they all decided to take Joe Biden's cue on election night. Remember that? And join Peepaw for tapioca and Betty Bye time and stop the counting and went to bed. Then voila, we wake up in the morning, the race has shifted, and we're just supposed to accept that we have a new president-elect because the media is telling us, big tech is telling us, everyone is telling us that's the result. The very same people who told us they could never allow a repeat of 2016. I was just going to keep my mouth shut. I was going to keep my head down and keep on remodeling my house. And I just decided I had to assemble the Tammy head and come out and say something. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a fighter. The people who love me most, that's probably the thing that they both love and hate about me. I am constitutionally incapable of just letting things go. When it comes to what I perceive as a fight between right and wrong, I'm like a pit bull on a T-bone. I cannot pretend, I cannot capitulate, and I cannot just let it go. What I've realized, though, in my lifetime is that there are not a lot of people who are willing to fight for what's right. There are a lot of people who act like they fight for what's right, who talk about fighting for what's right, but when push comes to shove, they are scrambling, running through the masses to get to that path of least resistance. I've seen it too many times to not recognize it when it's happening. Once they reach that easier path in their shame and embarrassment of their fecklessness and weakness, they make excuses or they just flat out lie, whatever it takes to justify it. But every once in a while, I encounter a true fighter, someone who refuses to acquiesce to the accepted narrative. That is our president, and that is why I decided to assemble the Tammy head and come forward and speak in support of Donald Trump. He is not fighting for himself. He is not fighting to win because he's a sore loser. He's fighting for the dream that is America because he understands if they are allowed to get away with cheating and stealing an election, America is over. Elections are just a game. They're a sham. Going forward, if they're all going to end up being what big tech, what the establishment, what the media wants it to be, then they're a sham. They mean nothing. Our votes mean nothing. Donald Trump is fighting for the dream of America, where every citizen gets a say in how the greatest nation on earth is run. If there is the slightest chance that even one of the allegations Donald Trump is making is true, dead people voting multiple times, bogus ballots with only Joe Biden in the ballot, nothing else, didn't vote for any state races, didn't vote for any state questions, just Joe Biden, nothing else. Thousands, tens of thousands of ballots like that. And they're magically appearing to put Joe Biden over the top, where Donald Trump was clearly winning. Questions about the voting machines that are linked to the Clinton Foundation. Come on, man. Linked to the Clinton Foundation, involved in glitches that just so happen to go in the favor of Democrats, but not Republicans. And what about Republican poll watchers that are being excluded from watching the counts in races that just happen to swing from Trump to Biden? If any of these things are true, then we have a major problem in America. This is not about Donald Trump. This is about America. And we have to give the process time to figure out if it's legitimate. Because if it's not, your vote, my vote, nobody's vote matters. And our entire republic is in peril. If you can't see that, that makes me very sad. I understand wanting to win, believe me. And I understand hating somebody so much that you want them gone. But do you hate them so much that you want America gone? Because that is what's in question right now. I say we let this go through the process. We see what the evidence is. And then once it's all settled down and all of the truth comes out, if Joe Biden is the legitimate winner, then I will accept him as my president. But until we know, the race is still wide open and nobody needs to be declaring a winner. I'm Tammy Marler, and that's the way I see it.